Okay, today we are on the Lexus website because recently I've driven a lot of entry level to mid level luxury cars like the BMW X3, Audi A4s, Volvo XC60s, things like that that hover around the 50K range. Fine vehicles, I suppose, but I just kept thinking to myself while I was driving those vehicles, something like the Lexus ES or even the Acura RDX would be a much more pleasurable and soulful driving experience. Nothing wrong with those European cars. I enjoyed some of them. And we also have here the new redesigned NX, which I might do a video on later. And hopefully I can even get this vehicle to review for you guys this year. But more on that later. Right now, I actually want to focus on the ES. In particular, the ES Hybrid. Because, well, there's a reason for that. If you're going to be daily driving something for around the $40,000 to $50,000 range, I also think that fuel economy is also pretty important. And fortunately, the ES Hybrid, the ES 300H, it is one of the smoothest hybrid powertrains I have ever experienced. In fact, it was superior to the LS 500H I tested back in 2020. Granted, for 2022, they've made a lot of changes with the LS, and I think it's a much better car now. But again, that's another vehicle I'm hoping to get as a review vehicle for you guys. But more on that later. Now, when we're talking about the ES, there's also the classic choice, the ES 350, right, with that V6 engine. But I'll be honest, guys. I mean, as much as I like the ES 350 and that smooth V6, I really do think that the ES 300 is still the way to go, mainly because of that 40 mpg, that real world fuel economy that you're going to be getting. 40 mpg, that is nothing to sneeze at, that's for sure. Whereas the ES 350, you're going to be getting half of that, like 20 in the city and like 30 on the highway. Whereas with the ES 300H, you're going to be getting 40 mpg all the time, no matter what you're doing, how you're driving. ES 250, all-wheel drive, totally not worth it. Just get either the Avalon or really the Camry in the all-wheel drive format if you're just going to be buying a ES 250, Unless you're getting a significant discount, which is not happening in today's market. But also, in my opinion, I think the luxury trim level is the best trim level to get. But I will say for the 2021s and up, the F Sport trim is also something to consider. It looks amazing, and it actually does enhance the handling while also maintaining that classic Lexus ride quality, which is nice. Ultra luxury, I don't really think is worth it, but we'll discuss that a little bit later. Just for fun, we will go ahead and we will build all of the ES 300H models here, including the base model. Now, color is obviously subjective, but another thing to note, every Lexus color is just amazing. The paint quality is epic, and also they just have a nice finish to them that a lot of other cars can't really match, if I'm going to be honest with you. Of course, it's not letting me turn the vehicle around, whatever, but you get the idea. This green color is pretty interesting, but I really like the red. I think that pops. The Matador red mica, it's such a great color for the Lexus vehicles. Yeah, it's just really striking to look at, especially with that spindle grille, which I absolutely love. I think that's just the most striking appearance. But again, that's up to you, what you like for your exteriors. Interior, I think I'll probably go with this cognac interior. This kind of white-ish interior will probably get dirty over time. And we also have like this almond brown interior, which is kind of weird, but it's there if you like it. And these are the true kind of leather options, not like the pseudo leather, the new Lux or whatever that you get in the other lower trim levels, like the base model ES 300H. So you will get the true leather as standard here. Another reason to consider the luxury trim level. Now moving on to packages here. Really the main package to get is that Mark Levinson sound system. It is one of the greatest sound systems that you can possibly put in the vehicle. So you definitely got to get that. Now the navigation package, really not necessary. And you can also blend in the Mark Levinson with the navigation system, but I think it's just cheaper to get the Mark Levinson on its own. So that's really the main reason why I'm doing videos like this, because most people are not test driving these vehicles. They're just ordering them directly through the dealerships without even testing them. Lexus ES 300H, I'm sure dealerships will probably have one for you to test drive, but if you want to get one the way you want it, you're obviously going to have to spec it with any of the options that you want. So I'm just trying to walk you through, show you which options are actually worth getting, like the Mark Levinson. Let's get that triple beam dream headlight assembly, you know. They do look good. Costly at $1,200, but I think it's worth it. Heads-up display, not really worth it in my opinion. I just end up turning it off anyway, so I'm not going to pay $500 for that. Now, this is an interesting option right here. 18-inch split 5-spoke wheels. These are the noise reduction wheels. Only a $180 option, and the wheels look amazing as well. I think when I did test the 2020 ES300H, it did have these wheels, and it truly was very quiet. Hardly any wind noise, hardly any tire noise. Smoothness and quietness is really the name of the game with the ES Lexus. It's truly phenomenal. I mean, there's no real need for you to get the LS. The ES is that good, man. I'm telling you. So smart access key card. I mean, this is just one of those trends where, you know, in the future, you're going to be having a microchip somewhere in your body, and you're just going to wipe your rear end or your fingers or something on a vehicle to get in and out of, but they're trying to train you here with these card key things, and eventually you'll just have to implement this stuff into your own body. But for right now, you know, you have this stupid little credit card thing here. Definitely not paying $100 for that, but again, it's to train the masses for what's coming. Intuitive parking assist with the auto braking, rear pedestrian detection. To be honest, I don't really care too much for pedestrians, so we don't need that option. No, I'm just joking. You know, I know how to drive, so I don't need to pay $835 for that. But we also have this power open closing trunk with the kick sensor. Honestly, that's pretty good to get. Sure, we'll throw that in there, $550. And yeah, I just think that's a better value than just paying $3,000 to get the navigation that you're never going to use with the Mark Levinson, when you can just get these other standalone options that are of much more value to us. But again, if you want this intuitive parking or the heads-up display, that's there if you want to purchase that. I obviously don't need it. I love getting all-weather floor mats. Definitely a must for me personally. This illuminated door sill nonsense, definitely don't pay for that. Actually, you know what? I do like the key gloves. You know, it does help protect the key a little bit. Alloy wheel locks, I actually do think that's worth getting in a vehicle. It's a good option to get. But yeah, that pretty much sums everything up there. You know, we're at $51,680. Definitely not a cheap vehicle, but hey, that's about what the other European competitors cost. But here we have a pretty nicely loaded ES300H here. This is a loaded to the brim with some pretty good options. As you see, you can read all the options listings here and how much each thing costs. And if you want to add more or add less, that's really going to be up to you. But I think, in my opinion, if you're ordering this car, this luxury ES300H trim that nets you about 40 mpg is the way to go for around this price point. Now, let's go back and let's actually quickly go through and build some of the other ES300H models. So the base model starts at around $42,000. And one interesting thing to note is that the hybrid acoustic sound dampening, that's apparently standard on the ES300H. One of the main reasons why I suggest getting the luxury trim levels is because the luxury trim level that I tested in 2020 had the double pane glass, and that was a very silent vehicle, like no wind noise at all really when you get up to speed. But apparently they might have given you that here for the base model in 2022. Not completely 100% sure, but let's go ahead and let's build it anyway. You'll see why I still recommend getting the luxury trim level over this. So let's just kind of go through and get a similarly equipped model. See, this is kind of like that new Lux leather, which is actually fine. I don't mind the new Lux, but you just get the real leather if you step up in trim. But I don't mind the new Lux. But now you have a bunch of packages here to inflate the price. So we have things like the premium package, which we can kind of see what's included in there. Heated and ventilated front seats, you know, obviously things that you would want in a luxury car. Got things like the wireless chargers, power tilt and telescopic steering wheel. all these little things. And, talk to your local Lexus dealership about some of these options, because some of you were complaining when I do some of these videos that, oh, the manufacturer's website is just lying to you. You can't get any of these options. I think that's complete BS. I mean, this is a pretty good way of seeing what's available for the car, obviously, but the dealership will tell you if certain things are truly available or not, or like which combinations will be available, if that makes sense. But again, we'll kind of go through this here. Yeah, let's get that premium package. That includes a lot of things that we want, and that's just going to naturally make us, I guess, change some of these interior options. So let's go ahead and let's do that. Power rear sunshade, $200, worth paying up for. We'll get that power opening trunk. We don't have to get the headlights. I just like the way they look. And grab the Mark Levinson. It's telling us to make a little change here. I mean, we're at $49,000 here. And we have an option of getting these 18-inch wheels. However, it's not the noise reduction 18-inch wheels. You see what I'm saying? So you don't get those wheel options here in the base trim, which is another reason why I really like going for the luxury trim, because as you see here, we're already at like 50 grand. And we add our little accessories here. Yeah, we're right at 50 grand. So just pay the 2 grand more and you get a couple of more features, but most importantly, you get those wind reduction wheels. And I just happen to think that those wheels look a little bit better. But these are okay. I mean, this is a fine vehicle. You can get a nicely equipped ES 300H for around 50, but I would pay a little bit more and get that 51,000 and some change ES 300H luxury trim. So as you can see, that's really the value option here. But for fun, we can quickly build the F Sport, because I do actually think the F Sport is worth getting for the 2021s and up. They've really nailed the balance there between comfort and handling. It truly is the best handling ES for sure. And white looks really good. Really, all the colors look great. I tested a 2021 in the gray, this Cloudburst gray, and it looks amazing. So all the colors are nice. We'll stick with white for right now. And get the red seats, right? Nice old racy look. But one of the things I noticed is there's no Mark Levinson option here, which is super unfortunate. I don't understand if it's like a shortage thing, or if they're not including it, or if it's standard with the F Sport. It's kind of strange. When I click on the navigation package, it doesn't seem to show up with anything, but before it wouldn't show the Mark Levinson. So that's very unfortunate. I would definitely double check that with a dealership, because that's very important. The Mark Levinson sounds so good. It's definitely something that you want. But as it sits here, it's about 48 grand. I'm assuming if we did add Mark Levinson, it would bring it up to around 50 grand or close to it. But obviously that's not showing up on the website, so we'll just have to forget that. But get the F Sport if you like the way it looks, but ask your dealership about the sound system situation. And lastly, for fun, we'll just build that ultra luxury, because that's the fully loaded trim. We'll see how much extra that we're going to be paying up for with similarly equipped options. And I think here, if we want the Mark Levinson, it's just bundled in with this navigation package, so we have no choice. We actually have to get the navigation in this case. And we're already at $54,000. And I guess that's about, what, 2 to 3 grand more than the regular luxury package that we built. So yeah, I would just save the extra 2 grand. It's not really worth paying up for this. But you do get the 18-inch noise reduction wheels as standard here. I guess if you're loading up the luxury trim level with all the little heads-up display and all these other little options that I foregoed there, like if you really want the navigation, I think it's cheaper to get the navigation here in the ultra luxury. So there's a couple of little things like that. But I think the pragmatic choice is saving the 2 grand like I did with that luxury trim. But I mean, even at like a little under 55 grand, that's not bad. I mean, if you've driven this car, you know the quality and you know why I'm so, high on this car. The reason why I like it so much, it really is a phenomenal driving experience for the money. And if you want to get the V6, it's available to you, but it's just in this climate with the way they keep ramping up the gas prices, because both engines are super smooth. You're not buying this V6 to race people with. You're buying it for, I guess, that reliability sake, but we know that it's a brand new car. It's going to come with a phenomenal warranty, great dealership support. That's just what you get with a Lexus product, so I'm not too worried about stuff like that. But yeah, it's mainly, you're paying 50 grand for these cars. Getting that gas mileage savings is going to be a huge help when you own the vehicle month to month. And, me personally, I would really like to lease something like this. I think that's really the best way to take advantage of a vehicle like this. But yeah, I mean, just around 50 grand for a ES 350 luxury trim. Not bad. And before we end this video off, we will go over into the Lease Hacker website, because I'm not, people think I'm like paid and sponsored by them, but I'm not. I'm just trying to give you a good resource that you can look at for leasing vehicles, because cars are just so stupid expensive, especially with no discounts, that if I can help someone save some money, then I will definitely point you into that direction. So yeah, I think we get the point here. Yeah, I mean, if you want the V6, this is going to be probably one of the last generations of the ES where you can get that tried and true six-cylinder engine if that's what you so want. And we have a lease cash of about $1,500, at least for my region here in North Carolina. 2.49% APR on a finance for 60 months. That kind of sucks. It's already like no real discounts, and we should at least be getting 0% financing. They're just taxing us in every way possible. And there's some military discounts, $1,000 and a $1,000 college grad discount as well, if you can qualify for that. But let's just go ahead here. I'll show you what I'm on about here with the Lease Hacker form. I've showed this multiple times in my other videos, but if you're new here, I'll just show you. This is a pretty phenomenal resource to use. Check this out. Look at all the information. See what people are talking about. See what kind of deals people are getting in this nutty market. But let's just go down north. I'm in North Carolina, but you can just choose whatever state that you're in. And Lease Companion is really the largest kind of broker, because the way this works is there are brokers like Lease Companion that direct you to the dealerships that they work with. And as you can see here, 2022 NX, they'll give you a 2.5% discount. 4xe Jeep Wranglers, 9.25% off MSRP, which is pretty phenomenal in this market where you get no discounts really. So they have these little spreadsheets that you can click on, and let's just go over into Lexus. Click on the Lexus tab, and let's see here. ES300H Luxury, $51,000. Residual value 52%, 39 months. They're asking $565 a month, and they will give you 4.5% off the MSRP price, which is pretty amazing. Plus, you get the $1,500 lease cash. So you can go further and click on the calculator link. So you click that, and you will get a breakdown as to how this works. And this includes 9 multiple security deposits. I'm not going to go into what that means here, but let's just put that to 0. It's basically just a refundable down payment to reduce the interest on the lease. And yes, there is interest on the lease. That's called the money factor. Tax rate for us is 3% in North Carolina. Yeah, that seems all about right. Let's just do a 0 drive off. So really, your payment is actually like $714, even with all the discounts, incentives, etc. So the other thing that you can do is do a one-pay lease to save some money. So you would be paying 24 grand, write a check for that, and you're done with your debt obligation, which is much better than paying 51 grand or 48 grand with a discount. I'm sorry. Instead of writing a big check just for the 48 grand, you can just write for 24 grand, write out the vehicle. And as you can see, the effective monthly payment dropped from $714 to $607 when you choose to do a one-pay lease. So that's a way to save some money. But again, that's up to you. You can play with that if you want. Mainly, I just want to show you what in my opinion, one of my most favorite cars for around 50 grand is. It's the ES300H. This is one of the more affordable ways that you can get it. But now you know what trim level I like, what options I like. You can play with that yourself. Talk to your local dealership about what's available, what's not for you, what you can get with which combinations. But for right now, that'll be the end of this video. Maybe the next video will be on the NX and also the Acura RDX. I also have some reviews planned for the 2022 Volvo XC60. I already filmed that, and I already filmed the 2022 Audi A4, and I have a 2022 VW Golf R review coming up as well, so stay tuned for that. Thanks again for watching. Take care, and goodbye.